With the prologue scene being released to the world on April 26th, none other than Alien Day, we learned of David and Shaw's interactions and some moments between them after Prometheus and before Covenant. We learned of how Shaw pieced David back together, how they began plotting their way to the engineer homeworld, and how Shaw was put into cryostasis. We were also shown how David believes Shaw showed him great levels of compassion, more than any human had ever, more so than his own father, and the way the interactions were portrayed, it led me and many others to believe that David had some level of affection for Shaw. To me, the most intriguing lines paired with what happens at the end of the prologue is after David puts Shaw into cryosleep. We see him walking alone in the dark juggernaut, and he explains how he learned of their ways and awaited their arrival. We then watch as David walks around the hangar doors, looking down below on the civilization, ready to drop the payload of Black Death. His face is not one of happiness. He doesn't look smug. His expression is something steadfast, a resolve of conviction, but also sadness. To me, he doesn't appear to be enjoying what he is about to do, and that, paired with the earlier lines of learning of their ways, makes me question, what did he learn? What did he discover which caused him to make this decision? It's all too easy to reply to this with, his head got ripped off by an engineer, therefore he is seeking revenge. The way the prologue pans out, he isn't walking around with malice. He doesn't appear resentful or unwilling to try and find them. The tonal shift in the prologue is the moment David is alone. The moment David learns of their ways. Many people have said he does this to the civilization out of revenge for Shaw. However, I believe she is quite well still in hypersleep at this point. We know from Prometheus and even this prologue that he doesn't hold humanity in high esteem. No one but Shaw has shown David that level of compassion. The question from Shaw asking, what if they are no better than us? And his reaction to it, so long as they are no worse. And in Prometheus, when David talks about humanity, when Holloway asks why he is wearing a helmet, you people made me this way. Holloway comments about them making androids pretty close these days, and David replies with a very firm, not too close, I hope. So it would be doubtful David is doing this as some revenge for what the engineers had originally planned for us as a race. Why would he bother, and why would he exhibit such expressions of sadness? There is the potential that he has learned what their intentions were with the pathogen, the black canisters of death. Potentially he has learned precisely what its structure is and what it is able to do. His former reverence to these beings now crushed at what he has discovered, he decides to use the very same weapon against them as poetic justice. If David does indeed hold them in high esteem, which he seems to, or at least seemed to, his ideas of this race now crushed, he may very well exhibit that expression. His dreams dashed, his hopes in ruins. He wouldn't be happy. We know Shaw wants to meet them. We know David was helping her, or was seemingly helping her, up until putting her into hypersleep. The affection he showed towards her is either a ploy to gain her trust, which, given the way they interacted in Prometheus, I genuinely doubt that, or he really does hold her high on a pedestal, and as such, after learning of the engineer ways and what their true intentions were, he chose to remove them. The issue I have with that is it removes the chance Shaw had to learn why they wanted to destroy us. If David is fond of her, he wouldn't likely do this. My thinking is that potentially he learned of some great threat to Shaw's existence, and knowing how headstrong she is, she would likely still want to interact with them. He opted to remove them entirely so as not to risk her life. Though this entire theory is based off of the fact that it is the engineer homeworld they arrived at, either way, it does seem like there is a big revelation set to be revealed in Covenant, and I cannot wait to find out what caused this catastrophic event to be set in motion by David. I'm not of the belief that David did it merely to create. Quoting his line from Prometheus, sometimes to create one must destroy. It's his facial expressions and the lines before it that are done in a way that leads me to disregard this as a potential. But as always, I could be wrong. What were your thoughts when you saw this trailer, and what is it you think that David learned? Do you agree with some of my points, or am I way off the mark? I'm always keen to hear your thoughts on this, so let me know what you think down below in the comment section, and if you did enjoy this video, then please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel for more in the future. If you think this video is worth it and you want to support the channel, then please head on over to my Patreon page, the link is in the description box. I've been Mr. H, and until next time, I'll catch you in the comments section.